Welcome to the Filipino Martial Arts lesson of the day. Today's technique we're going to be covering the Cambiata. It looks like this. Phase 1. Let's warm up. The first thing that I want you guys to do is from a long range position, we're only going to use, let's say, the last 4 inches of the stick. And I want to do it in a way that when he feeds an angle 1, I'm going to lean back and then only hit with that section I was talking about. Again. Let's do it 5 times. That's 3, 4, 5. Now, warm up number 2, we're going to step out here, 45 or maybe lateral to my partner, but instead of using what would be considered the edge of my stick, we're going to be using the spine of my stick. So I'm going to come from underneath, leaning my head away and hitting with the spine. And after I hit with the spine, I will follow up with a backhand. So let's look at it again. 1, 2, coming back. 1, 2, coming back. 1, 2, coming back. 1, 2, coming back. And the last one here. And coming back. Phase 2, let's build the technique. So we're going to utilize our warm-ups that we did before. Warm-up number 1 where we're leaning back, and then warm-up number 2 where we're stepping forward. So as I do this, I'm going to have one thing in mind, which is called the cruzada, or cross. When we meet in the middle here, I'm going to create like a symmetrical practice. Okay, this is not the method of fighting, this is just a method of training. So when I meet here, I will create a cross, and then I will lift my arm up to create a second cross here. Okay, so that would be the bulk of trying to build the technique for the Cambiata. Now what's important, when I was mentioning the warm-up moving backwards and then forwards, this would be like a backwards motion as if I'm trying to deliver a strike, but then the forward motion is where I'm connecting to my partner, right here. Now, if I just lean forward and have a floating leg, it's not very strong in my structure. So obviously I need to step forward, clear the center line, and then tap the target that I'm trying to aim at. Super important as I do this is that I have to place it the exact same spot every single time on the intended target. Not intense delivery here, because then I would hurt my partner. But the intention is to always practice good accuracy. Okay? If you continue to move it here, let's say you're choosing the target as the shoulder, well, when the time comes, that will be the training, that training will start to come out. So unless you're actually trying to only hit the shoulder, then go ahead and practice on the shoulder. But for a good valued target, it would be somewhere probably there. So again, 1, 2. Now, to see the first warm-up, right, you can see that I'm moving backwards to clear this line. Now, if I stay here in the center and I meet, if he was strong, it would continue. So even in the medium range here, I still need to move back a little bit. So I'm flowing back first and then moving forward to create the 2 crosses, stepping to maintain my structure or established position, and then clearing the center line with my target. So let's do that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Phase 3, follow-up. So to maintain a little bit more fluidity in the technique, because we need to have a response after we successfully deliver the technique, or in case we don't deliver the technique well, we have something to fall back to. So a natural one will be here, right? I clear the position, and as I move forward, I now will use my left hand, my empty hand here, to push this out of the way. And as I do that here, sometimes it feels very difficult to kind of like push and then get this hit at the same time. So what tends to happen is we'll use the other end of the stick, which is called the puño. When I move it here, I retract it just for a second, and then I try to hit with the puño. Now, a natural reaction would be this hand here, okay, just to practice. Again, I come with my cambiata, or AKA cadena real. I come up, I clear it out of the way, closing the distance, and then trying to use my puño. The technique itself, cambiata, is basically a switching technique. What tends to happen if I just use the end of the stick here or the puño is just a choice. So again, 1, 2. Again, 1, 2. Just like every other training that we've ever done, always start slow. And then as you're building the coordination, start smoothing it out, ironing out the different areas that you might be thinking, and make it a little bit more subconscious by doing plenty of reps. Eventually, once it's smooth, I want you to start delivering it a little bit quicker, with all of the ideas still in mind, where I'm moving back, forward, clearing the center line, and providing the initial follow-up. Phase 4, context. So let's say from the initial reaction, when he does his angle 1 or an open strike, my first reaction is to like hit the hand. So it kind of looks like this, right? So I hit his hand here. But he decides he's going to crash into my space, and I really have to move back. And in the moment, I feel all of that pressure in front of me. It's hard to hit his hand. I had to change my decision and actually block it in this fashion. My head's still kind of out of the way, but he has so much pressure into me, I have to decide to change directions. So first of all, we can see the first cross. I maneuver from my rear position into the forward position, which will be the lift. Kind of like a shield that is moving in and reclaiming the momentum space, okay? Now as I do that, I step forward like we did before, using the same follow-up, but because I'm using the same kind of intensity pressure going forward, the typical reaction is to block and then push it down. Now both of my hands are underneath. So once I realize that, I will let go, come up on top and pluck this. My first target is on his leg or his kneecap, and that will be right here. Now what my partner is going to do, he's just going to move his leg out of the way and provide a stick, so that way I have tactile feedback. What I'm going to do next is I'll step back, utilizing the natural rotation of my body, and give an angle 1. Okay, so let's look at it again. From a crashing position, I'm moving back, I come forward again, clearing the center line, delivering my follow-up. I pluck the hand off from the bottom position, and then, as if to hit the leg, moving back, utilizing natural body mechanics. Again, 1, 2, 3. A little bit more smooth. Now we'll do it for the cambiata. Go ahead and practice it, and we'll see you on the mat soon.